and obviously hard on the brakes down the inside, and it just 2 into 1 doesn't go.
Bugs, what about the incident before that when you locked up the brakes into Murray's corner? Was that just a brake bias issue?
No, it was actually a bit the same. I'd actually got a run on Mark coming out of the chase there and went down the inside, but I was on the dirty stuff, hard on the brakes, and it just locked the rears. So we just picked that one up, kept going, and yeah, straight away we had another problem.
So how's the Orcon Ford feel overall in terms of its handling, balance and speed?
Actually, really good. The car was quite good and very consistent through that run. Right towards the end, we're doing low 10s and able to push it on. I mean, we're pretty fortunate with a couple of pace cars here that's going to get us back into the race a bit. So if we can just keep our nose clean now for the rest of the day, who knows?
Thanks, Bugs.
Thanks, guys.
20th position, the Orcon Ford number 10. There's Mark Larkin, who's out there turning the laps right now on lap 58 of 161. And everything's falling nicely into place for Rick Kelly. He's taken over the hot seat from Greg Murphy and now pushed the Kmart Commodore out to a 15-second lead over Marcus Ambrose and Todd Kelly. The heavyweights have come out to play on race day at the Mountain.
Welcome back to a moment for the Max Factor. Maxie Wilson behind the wheel, and there was almost nowhere to go there for Jamie Whincup, but in the end there was. Max regathers nicely, not sure if there's any collateral damage there. Those guys have been terribly unlucky. David Brabham and Max Wilson, they were among the 14 fastest cars in regular qualifying, all within a second of each other, so the speed wasn't too shabby, but the strategy and the sheer luck has not been as good. Barrichello on pole for the final round of the Formula One World Championship, coming your way as soon as we finish this major event on your home of motorsport. Mark Webber there of Australia qualifying 6th, and Kimi Raikkonen qualifying 8th. He's the only man who can stop Michael Schumacher, who's starting from 14th, winning this championship. Australian viewers, of course, will be able to catch that action. And welcome to all our international viewers as well who are enjoying this event.
Just thinking, Billy, they should put a spare seat in that car number 18 and take everybody around for joyrides today. Max Wilson and David Brabham, and now Noski in car number 9. And Craig Baird.
This is the battle for 8th place.
Close and personal.
Noski gets up alongside, uses that SBR engine grunt to good use. Rockets past as they come up hard under brakes toward Griffin's Bend. Rick Kelly, Ambrose slowly chipping away at that lead, though. It's down to 13.3 seconds.
Mark Noski teamed up this weekend with the Konica champion in Mark Winterbottom, who did a good job in qualifying in this car. He won of the sessions to get into the top 50%, the top 20 cars. He only had a couple of laps to do it, and they were very impressed at Stone Brothers Racing. We've got a fuel leak in pit lane. Oh dear. That is coming out of the refueling tower. We normally see something go wrong at the hose end, but it's coming out of the main end. That is very, very dangerous.
Robert Smith's pit, running a 2-car team this weekend. And as we saw last year with the Kmart team, the officials here come down here very, very hard on fuel leakage. Grant.
Yeah, guys, you've called it exactly right. No apparent urgency on the part of the crew to find out where it's coming from. They're obviously down there cleaning it up, but obviously a potentially disastrous mishap here. Obviously, you know, fuel and the sorts of temperatures that are around these cars, not just in the engine, but in the brakes and wheels. And, you know, they've come and put wheels down right next to the fuel spill. Yeah. Could have been a big one.
GK, it doesn't look as though there's any damage with the tower. It must have just fed back through the hose and splashed out at the top.
Matty, I can't see anything at all wrong with it. In fact, there's no leak happening now, so they've either drained all of the fuel from the tank, which is probable, and obviously then there's no more there to leak, but it doesn't appear to be damaged. You're quite right. It just seems to have overspilled from the very top. It has run down from the very top lip all the way down the side.
All right, back to racing. That's Marcus Ambrose on your screen, and the times at the top of your screen represent the last 4 laps. Rick Kelly is leading this race. They're the times that he's put down on lap 58, 59, 60 and 61. Ambrose 0.3 of a second quicker on 58, down 0.2 on 59, and and then has really been chopping into Rick Kelly's times. The gap when we left you before that break was around 15 seconds. The gap now between Rick Kelly and Marcus Ambrose is down to 12.5.
The wild fluctuations you see in those lap times too are more a result of cars hitting traffic than anything else. Get held up behind a bunch. The other car's running in clear road. He's going to make a big chunk of time up, and then the following lap he could lose the same amount as he hits the same bunch of cars.
Larry Perkins has been pushed down to 14th position, and he loses it at Hell Corner.
Oh no, has he got out of there? Just. Very, very lucky man, LP. We've seen cars get bogged, not going into the gravel trap much further than that. Here's a comparison of the last 4 lap times, as we said.
Between second and third, between Ambrose and Kelly. So Kelly is catching Ambrose, Ambrose is catching Rick Kelly. And the battle at the top 3 is starting to get very interesting indeed. John Bowe keeps pushing out some good laps in the 21 car, the Aussie Male Falcon. Through Forest Elbow, it's up to 4th. We saw that incident in pit lane. Maybe Greg Rust has got more.
Matty, I thought it was just an opportune time to maybe take a closer look and for the audience at home to paint a picture of the fuel rig. At the top of this massive gantry here is a tank which holds 200 litres, which they use for refuelling. Now, the gun teams will actually weigh this unit empty and weigh it when it's full with 200 litres of fuel. You can do that. You can see down here, they've got actually little scales so they can see how much weight has dropped out by weighing it full and weighing it empty. You can figure out what 200 litres of fuel weighs and therefore get a calculation on what each litre weighs and how much has gone in the car during a stop. This thing here is called the dead man's handle. It's spring-loaded. It's operated by a guy during the course of a stop. In the advent of something happening like last year at Kmart Racing, he just lets go of that spring and it stops any more fuel from flowing down through this system. You'll notice it's a Siamese system. In other words, there are 2 entries here which go into the car itself. One is a breather pipe and the other is the filler. Now, when fuel comes up the breather pipe, you may think that the tank is actually full. Sometimes you may be a little bamboozled there because air inside the tank is rushing back up the breather and you can get a bit of a splash up the line. It's an artificial sense of the tank being full. By checking the scales, you can verify exactly how much fuel has gone in. Very quickly, there's a restrictor inside those tanks as well. It can only flow in at a rate of 4 litres per second. So watch for them at the end of today. If they're doing a splash stop, they'll be timing it to see how fast that fuel's going in and how much has gone in.
Good explanation there. 4.2 litres per second it goes into the car. So you can work it out as to how much they put in. 20-second stop with full fuel going in. 84 litres in the back.
Greg Ritter in car 16 in 10th spot now. One of several Holden teams running the old VX Commodore. It's still quite a potent weapon around Mount Panorama. Let's have a look at this Strathfield replay.
Stephen Ellery sideways.
I think it was
Yulden behind the wheel, so that's it going up to turn 1.
I saw Larry spin there a couple of laps ago.
He was a bit deeper in, wasn't he, Larry? And Stephen Ellery is waiting to jump back into the car, helmet on. Approaching lap 63 completion. So we're heading towards the next round in pit lane. Up towards lap 70, things will start to get interesting again. Understand that the Aussie Male second entry car 888 is preparing for its stop, including a pad change. Remember the brake pad window open on lap 48.
This is the battle toward the end of the top 10. There's the Team Kiwi car. Craig Baird at the wheel in 9th. Ritter in 10th spot. Noski in the second of the Stone Brothers Fords in front of him. The Stone boys will be pretty happy with that, having 2 cars in the top 10 at this stage.
Greg Ritter continues to show that he's got good form around Mount Panorama. He outdrove his, well, more fancied teammates last year when he was with Shell Helix Racing, finished 7th at Bathurst with Alan Jones, and now he's back in the thick of it again in 10th position with Marcus Marshall.
Curious to look at the state of play in terms of speed. Last lap, Rick Kelly 10.3, Ambrosey 11.1, 11.1 for Todd Kelly, 10.7 for Longhurst, 11 flat for Bowe, 11.6 for Seaton, 10.7 for Stevie Johnson. So that gives you a bit of an idea as to who's got pace and who hasn't right at the moment.
Oops.
Car number 34.
It's a Tanda Win Cup car.
Jamie Whincup.
As he clattered the wall, look where those skid marks start from up there.
He either did or he's missed it by a proverbial now. A splash for John Clellan and Andrew Jones.
They've done the pad change. Yes. Looks like all the pad changing gears on the ground there. So the pad change is now starting to roll through.
Rusty was there. They completed everything there, Greg.
Pad wear doesn't look too bad, guys, at all. It's staggering, the carbon metallic material they use in these pads these days. You could probably almost do the 1,000 on one set of pads. They've thrown some new pads in it. John Clellan went in. Just a little bit of a moment between the two guys doing the front brake pad change. You've got to be very careful that you do that in unison, that when you're using those brake pad pliers, both the guys at the front of the car are pushing back and creating that back pressure at the same time. Didn't slow them up too much in that stop.
Gee, it's interesting watching this battle. Rick Kelly, who's leading this one, he's under attack from Ambrose, but he's responded.
In the recent past, in fact, until the end of last year, we were able to have a little tap on the brake system, which enabled you to get the pistons back in the caliper far quicker than you can now. But if you recall, remember that incident with Wayne Gardner last year where he bumped the tap in the SBR car in practice and drilled the wall at turn 2? Vesco and Teague determined that it was a little on the dangerous side to have any kind of tap apparatus on the brake system, and this year it's gone. Oh, trouble.
Car 5. That's the...
This will set off a flurry of stops, I would think.
Adam Macro, Darren Hossack car, third of the FPR Fords, and look at the damage. That thing's had a big whack. The rear wings...
A bit shorter in the wheelbase, isn't it?
Yes.
Just the rear of it.
Making sure that Darren's okay at the bottom of the dipper.
Falcon versus concrete. Concrete wins.
So he's crunched both ends there. Yes, indeed, every time. That's a nasty bit of damage. Let's have a look on the Strathfield replay. It might tell us the story. Well, he's already in trouble. And wow.
Glass has gone out of that as well. The whole rear window's gone out of it.
There's a lot of debris on that racetrack now.
Think about what that means in terms of the next round of this championship on the Gold Coast. Only a couple of weeks away, and a flurry of cars head in.
Think of what that means in terms of fuel mileage as well. This is going to stretch another safety car period. It's going to take them a while to clean up all that rubbish.
Thomas couldn't get out. Paul Dumbrell getting in. He was stuck there for a minute. You can rehearse it all day long in the workshop, but you come up here and suddenly it can be a whole different deal.
You expect everybody to take advantage of this safety car and come in and do that brake pad change.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see the race leader come in, because by our estimations they're scheduled to come in about lap 69 for fuel. They might come in now, do the pads, take on gas a few laps earlier.
Hands in the air, by the way, is probably obvious, but it's just to make sure that everybody understands that they've completed their job safely. They stand back and raise their hands, including the drivers. Lets the car controller know precisely the state of play with the work being done around the car.
It's been a great battle at the front, as I said, between Kelly and Ambrose. Kelly responded to Ambrose's attack. He took it back a second. 13.5 seconds was the gap before the safety car came out.
Getting set up at Kmart Racing. I think Rusty's down there.
Yeah, they sure are, Matty. Also waiting at Aussie Mail. That's a driver and a brake pad change. Now, car 34 is in here. They've changed. Whincup is out. Garth Tander is in. But to add disaster to this scenario, for some reason, the pistons inside the caliper have come back out after they've removed the brake pad. So this whole stop has really been slowed up now for Garth Tander. Murphy is in. Here we go for his stop. Kelly out. He's in. This will be a brake pad change as well.
Rusty, are you telling me it actually popped the pistons out of the 34 car?
That is correct, Neil. The pads had come out of the car during that brake pad change, and now they're madly using screwdrivers trying to push those pistons back and get in a situation where they can actually put fresh pads in.
Well, that's a huge disaster. Generally done if the driver bumps the brake pedal as he climbs in and out of the car or something like that.
This is what generally happens.
Hands up at Kmart Racing, and Greg Murphy will rejoin the race.
Aussie Mail in too, and John Bow gets out, Brad Jones gets in.
Roll centre adjustment, see the speed wrench.
Full tank of gas, refilling the driver's drink bottle as well. Uh-oh.
Problem.
Oh, they put it down.
No, this has all gone wrong.
They've put it down before they got everything sorted out on the front right. Quickly send it back up, now back down and out. Brad Jones.
Oof, that could have been much nastier than the end result.
Look at this.
Winterbottom car 9.
Looking at each other, the two guys changing the pads at the front, as Rusty suggested before, making sure that they're in sync. Darryl?
Yeah, I'm down here.